Welcome back to Coffee and Cocktails. My name is Thomas, and today, in partnership with Proof Syrup, we are making a Lion's Tail remix. All spice and everything nice. Happy holidays. As you guys can probably guess, a Lion's Tail remix is a twist on the classic cocktail, a Lion's Tail, where we're combining allspice dram, some whiskey. Today we're using Rittenhouse Rye, some honey syrup from Proof Syrup, and then some Angostura Bitters. The original recipe calls for some orange bitters, but I really like the aromatics that Angostura Bitters has. And then we're gonna cut all of that with some lemon juice. So this recipe is a bit more complex than your traditional 3-ingredient cocktail recipe. We're gonna have 4 or 5 different ingredients coming together, but we have 2 ounces of our Rittenhouse Rye. We're gonna have 3/4 ounce of a freshly squeezed lemon juice. We have a 1/2 ounce of our Proof Syrup honey syrup, and then a 1/4 ounce of our St. Elizabeth's allspice dram, and then a couple dashes of our Angostura Bitters. Put all that into a cocktail shaker, shake it up, and then strain it into a rocks glass over ice, and then garnish it with a cinnamon stick. As you can probably tell from the recipe and the ingredients listed, you have the allspice dram, that rich, warm, kind of spicy flavors with the Rittenhouse Rye. Bring it all home with some honey and some lemon, topping it off with a cinnamon stick. It's great for this cooler weather as we enter the holiday season. I look forward to making it with you guys. Let's try it out. So we're starting off with 2 ounces of our Rittenhouse Rye. Pouring that right into our shaker. We then have a 3/4 ounce of a freshly squeezed lemon juice. So cutting that fresh. Pick out the seeds so there's no seeds getting into our lemon juice as we squeeze it into our jigger. We're then gonna do 1/2 ounce of our Proof Syrup's honey syrup. And then a 1/4 ounce of our St. Elizabeth's allspice dram. Lastly, we're gonna add in a couple dashes of our Angostura Bitters. Again, the recipe calls for orange bitters, but I prefer Angostura with the aromatics that Angostura brings. But if you prefer orange bitters, by all means follow that. So pour all this into our shaker tin and shake until chilled. So lastly, we're going to strain it into our ice-filled rocks glass. Just like so. Look at that color. Oh, that is so pretty. And lastly, garnish it with a cinnamon stick. To place it right there. And cheers. So that's a beautiful drink. You get that clove kind of flavor and notes from the allspice dram that's very, very rich. And I think pairing it with that Rittenhouse Rye was a good choice. It has that spice to it that I really like in my ryes, and Rittenhouse is that great kind of 100 proof, hits you right there, but it's not breaking the bank. So it's great to stock into your bar. I do like the choice of going with the Angostura Bitters over the orange bitters. It adds a bit more of that aromatic flavor to it. And I liken it back to the original Lion's Tail recipe that it calls for Angostura Bitters. So I like keeping that in there. And then the subtlety of this honey syrup, it gives it that sweetness that I want in my cocktails that's not too overpowering, but it's definitely there. It has that sugar, that really rich honey note, and it pairs extremely well with the allspice dram. I know it's subtle in there with only 1/4 ounce, but it really packs a punch. And adding this little, just like this cinnamon garnish, you get that on the nose as you take a sip, and just awakens your taste buds to what you're expecting. And it has just that fall flavor, those fall notes, that it's just a cozy cocktail. The original Lion's Tail cocktail does call for an egg white. I would be very curious to see how that does in a cocktail like this. It gives it kind of that head and that richness, that density to a cocktail. So play around with it. Again, these kind of cocktails where you have some complexity in the ingredients, again, play with the ratios to see what you guys like. Do you want to up the lemon in it? Do you want to cut it down? Do you want to add some egg white to it to give it kind of that thickness and that froth to it? Have fun with cocktails. Have fun with entertaining your guest, just yourself, your spouse, your partner, whatever it is. What I would recommend though is having a good base syrup collection. And Proof Syrup has been such a great partner for not only this channel, but also just my whole cocktail making experience. They cut all the guesswork out of it. I can't tell you how many times I'm stuck measuring and trying to get the right ratio of honey syrup and how much honey do I put in to cut it with water. Do I want a 2-to-1 ratio? Do I want a 1-to-1 ratio? How do I make it shelf stable? Proof Syrup has taken out all that guesswork and it's down to a science. You put in exactly how much it says for your cocktails, and it's just beautiful. Thanks again, guys, for joining me today as we go over the Lion's Tail Remix, allspice and everything nice. Please try it out at your local cocktail club or your speakeasy or even at home. Cheers.